episode 201-80907.2, Trolls and Australian Christian Lobby.
We now have the segment you're all looking forward to, reading Tara's hate speech.
John Fox at John L. Fox 4H 4 hours ago more replying to at Ripterawabadak Lobby at Jackie at Shrat. What a silly immature video that with its computerized voice lacks all credibility.
Well, John, this is my natural voice. I do use it in a lot of my videos. How I record my videos is up to me. It is my channel, my content, and if you don't like it, you know what to do.
John Fox at John L. Fox 4H 4 hours ago more replying to at Ripterawabat Peterson Rant and 2 others. What part of her own testimony doesn't suit you?
Well, John, it's like this. The Australian Christian Lobby has a reputation for many years of basically having no facts in their tweets. That is, if you can get any article that's published by the Australian Christian Lobby and you'll find that it's all made up lies, that's basically meant to attack a group of people. So I haven't even listened to the testimony because I know it's biased, and all it's going to do is damage my brain by having a cancer injected into it by the Christian Sharia thugs. So all I know is that if the Australian Christian Lobby are pushing an idea, then it has to be evil. And now an article from the Guardian newspaper, which I'll post a link to in the comments.
Pentecostal leaders have warned their congregation that darkness will spread across Australia and Christians will be persecuted if Scott Morrison does not win the next election. Others have been told that Morrison's rise to power was a miracle of God that answered 3 days of prayer and fasting. They have been told that Morrison has made a public stand for Christian freedoms and has promised to keep doing so. So God intervened to ensure he beat the Home Affairs Minister, Peter Dutton, in the Liberal leadership's bill. Videos posted to YouTube show how Pentecostal and evangelical religious communities are reacting to the rise of Morrison as Prime Minister. Last Sunday, Pastor Adam F. Thompson from Voice of Fire Ministries and Adrian Beale from Everest Ministries told the congregation of Hope City Church that Morrison's elevation to power was divinely inspired. Thompson, who says he can interpret dreams and that supernatural signs and manifestations accompany his ministry, said he'd received a message from God that Morrison and the coalition must win the election. The Lord woke me up at 4:30 a.m. this morning, Thompson told the Hope City Church congregation on Sunday, in a video he asked to be recorded. Scott Morrison invokes Menzies and power of prayer, while on liberal pilgrimage. Read more. Scott Morrison, he's a born-again Christian. He's probably one of the first ever born-again prime ministers, but it's not time to celebrate at the moment. This is a crucial time right now. In the next 6 months it's time for the body of Christ, the Christian Church, to put its differences aside and come together and agree that Jesus is the Messiah and start praying together and calling it in and praying for our prime minister right now, and for our government. I really see that the body of Christ is going to have influence in the arena of the political arena of this nation. But if the Prime Minister right now doesn't get elected in this next election, there's going to be darkness coming. And I'm not being negative. The laws are going to change where darkness is going to come and there will be persecution on the church. Thompson asked the congregation if they truly wanted a Pentecostal revival and reformation in Australia. If it doesn't happen in the next 6 months, in the next year I should say, there is going to be, the laws are going to come in, where they're going to change and darkness will come, Thompson said. The Lord is saying he wants us to rise up and pray, rather than come into persecution where we'll have no choice.
Just when you thought children's education was safe, just when you thought children's television was safe, just when you thought it was safe to let your children go to the mall alone, thought it was safe to let your children go on school camps. Your worst nightmare has come true. It's worse than stranger danger. It's attack of the killer Christians. coming to a playground.
ACL at lobby 11 hours ago more, which is why we're lobbying for the protection of parental rights in Australia. Find out more here. In December, Labor's 2018 National Conference will meet in Adelaide to decide the party's platform heading into the next federal election. The party's National Secretary has released a consultation draft of the platform, and it contains some radical, extreme material. Hidden on page 183, we can see the party is seeking to launch an extraordinary attack on people of faith and parents' rights. The document states, Labour opposes the practice of so-called conversion and reparative therapies on LGBTQ+ people and seek to criminalize these practices. This is shocking stuff. It means that if your son comes home one day from his Labour-sponsored, safe school, and tells you he wants to become a girl, you must support that decision and attempt to facilitate it. Discouraging your son from transitioning to a girl, arranging for prayer or counseling to affirm his biological gender would be a criminal offence and domestic abuse under a Labour government. Where is Bill Shorten in all of this? Well, so far he's refusing to rule out a return of the controversial Safe Schools program. Safe schools and Labour's proposed criminalisation of counselling that affirms biology are just another attack on the rights of parents who don't want to see their kids brainwashed by Labour's Rainbow Brigade. Let me be clear. Under Labour's proposed new laws, Christian parents will become criminals and domestic abusers simply for affirming that their sons are boys and their daughters are girls.
Wow. What can we say about that lovely item on the ACL website? Christians getting upset that conversion therapy will be outlawed. Conversion therapy has been referred to as torture. As for everything else on that post, it is true that Christians have no rights telling the LGBT child who they are. If they're gay, they're gay. It's nothing to do with the parents. Parents have caused enough children to commit suicide. Same goes for churches. You pushed enough people to suicide as well. Yeah, I think I've said enough on this topic for now. So, what has our friend Liar been up to today? Yes, I can read and talk, John. I hope you like this. Lyle's first post from 12 hours ago. That is not the message. But what is not the message, Lyle? Let's have a read of the cartoon. Gender Whisperers. On the left-hand side it says, you deserve to be loved and treated with respect, whoever you are. On the right-hand side it says, you shouldn't exist because I don't understand you. Oh, poor Lyle. You're not the message isn't belting up the trans community, so you're going to cry a little bit. Have a sook. So in the next cartoon, you posted about the truth about gender whispering. They've got a cartoon and it says, my teacher said there is no harm in identifying however I like. And you got a person, like a kid, looks like a Superman costume on, who's got the cape, and he's on top of a roof with a bird. Talking about using extreme cases that have nothing to do with gender to prove your point. Nothing but the stupid, silly little games you play against our community. There's no facts in what you've said, Lyle. Just more hate. For his last tweet for today, this is shameful. Our Greens' ideology pervades politics, especially on the left. We can replace our Greens in the Senate with AU Conservatives. We can start to turn this nation around. Hashtag a better way. Hashtag make common sense common again. Well, Lyle, you still don't have one vote in the Senate. The Greens have a better track history than you do. So dream on about your rise to power in Parliament, because you're still a failed National Party politician, and you will be a failure as a Conservative. Earlier today, I posted a clip from a transgender teen to Scott Morrison. I thought this was so important that I will actually post it again today.
Today, you criticised the practice of teachers identifying transgender children. Last night we received a video from a young viewer who has been an advocate in this area for a long time. This is what she had to say.
My name is Evie McDonald, I'm 13 years old, and I'm a transgender kid, and this is what I want to say to the Prime Minister. There are thousands of kids in Australia that are gender diverse, and we don't deserve to be disrespected like that through tweets from our Prime Minister. I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of attitudes like this. I went to a Christian school where I had to pretend to be a boy and spend weeks in conversion therapy. We get one childhood and mine was stolen from me by attitudes like this.
What do you have to say to her?
Well, I love all Australians and whatever background they come from. The point I was making was simply this. I want kids to be allowed to be kids and I want parents to be respected as the parents of those children. I don't think teachers get to take the place of parents and the choices that families make. They are the choices that families should make together. There is a place for clinical advice. There is a place for clinical counselling. But at the end of the day, in our schools, I don't want to see teachers taking the role of parents.
But when you say let kids be kids, isn't this about allowing kids to be themselves, be who they are?
I was referring to a practice that has been put in place in schools where others are coming into that conversation and making observations and getting between the role of a parent and that child. And, I believe in family, as we all do. It's a common value across Australia, and I don't think that parents should be supplanted by teachers.
Well, Scott, I've had a while to think about your statement. And in some ways, I'm going to say that it could, taking your statement to its logical conclusion, you say that teachers should butt out of education. Educating children. But you only talk about the LGBT community, especially trans people. There's no mention in this about parents actually being responsible for teaching children about religion. Why is it okay for Christians to indoctrinate school children with their cults, but you'll keep kicking the trans community out, or especially LGBT community, out of schools? There's one rule for the Christians, one rule for everyone else. Have a think about it, Scott. We're all as people who think that my content is all computerized, where I use computerized voices. If you listen to some of my videos, what I did this morning was an example, you'll actually hear background noise of the mall in the recording. It's not very loud, but when I was listening to it on my headphones a few minutes ago, I could hear the background noise at the mall, and I actually recorded the first clip in today, or the first video. So that just proves that, once again, people are not listening to all of my content. But if you know what you're looking for, which I do, then you would see that the content was actually produced in a public place. I'm Tara. I hope you're having a wonderful day. May your God bless you. And if you don't have a God, then bless each other.
Thank you for listening today, Rising. I would like to say the Australian Labor Party, Liberal Party, National Party, Australian Conservatives, One Nation, Australian Christian Lobby, Rupert Murdoch, Pauline Hanson, The Alliance Defending Freedom, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube are fucking big rich cunts. We cannot wait to see you tumble and fall. Just tumble and fall. We just cannot wait to see you tumble and fall.
Do you need some more spice in your life? Need some more sex toys, vibrators, dildos, nipple clamps, bondage material? Then go to Tara's favourite sex store, femplay.com.au, the adult sex store run by females for females. And when you contact them, say Tara sent you.